Hello, 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 Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia, y'all, and this is Transurfers Gone Wild. Woo! My layer of reality really has gone wild. I am and continue to be absolutely spellbound and blown away by reality transurfing. It's been 7 years since I've adopted my transurfing practice, and man, it just continues to amaze me. Now, I've created some tools that have sort of helped me with some of the issues that reality transurfing has with practicality and real life use and all that kind of stuff, but the foundation of my transurfing experience, the transurfing knowledge itself, and the tools that I've cultivated, wow, oh wow. For those of you that have been following my story and my recent most magnificent life track switches of my life, I'm going to expand on my experience and some of the things that I've learned in the last couple of months since I've done a video, and some things I've kind of had to learn the hard way. There has been a rip-roaring ride of variables and events and pendulums gunning for me like a motherfucker, and all kinds of stuff that continues to keep me on my toes, which I'm grateful for, and I get to extend to you all what I am learning. If you are in fact either wanting to make a major life track switch, are in the midst of a major life track switch, or, you know, if you're new to transurfing and just want to know what the hell it is that we are talking about, stay tuned. I'm going to ask you all now. I was considering this video, which is going to be a long and meaty video. It's going to be one of my hour-long videos. I was considering this to be my last one of this length. Unless you like these, please comment below to keep the longer videos, or if you'd like me to go back to the shorter lessons, which is what I'm intending on doing, please let me know below. I definitely want to accommodate the viewers here at Transurfing TV. So today on Transurfing Gone Wild, I'm going to go over a number of things. First off, how I got here and where here is exactly for those of you that have not been following my story and are new to transurfing. I'm going to go over what happened last year and the tools that I use to actually put the transurfing concepts into play in the biggest way that I've ever personally experienced, with results that are otherworldly, I guess. I don't really know how to explain what's happening to me right now, but I'm definitely going to try. And then I'm going to get into the meat of the lesson du jour, which is a number of things that I already knew before I embarked on this latest life track switch, but have become even more like solidified in my mind and more apparent the value that these concepts offer. The first one is going to be the idea of what Vadim Zeland refers to in reality transurfing steps 1 through 5, I want, I fear, I can't let go, and how this mentality, if you will, really keeps us from accessing sectors of the alternative space where not only can we have what it is that we want, but we can have like way more than we want. I think for me, this has probably been the biggest like aha that I've taken from my experience since deciding to move to my new city, Tbilisi, Georgia, a country south of Russia, kind of at the crossroads of Asia and the Middle East and Eastern Europe and south of Russia. It has been a very rapid life track switch. It has been a very fruitful life track switch, And it really is something that I never could have conceived as being a possibility for me, at least at this time in my life. And what I'm going to be talking about, the idea of I want, I fear, I can't let go, and what happens subsequently when you acknowledge that you're operating in this mode and you switch over to a place of trusting your world and accepting and allowing and all these different things, that the alternative space is like there for you, like a motherfucker, to give you even more than you are asking for now. And I think that this is exactly like where I am at this point, in awe and amazement that I'm living the life that I am, and that my world actually has even higher and better plans than I could create for myself. And I'm willing to sort of allow myself to be a living, breathing testimony of these exact concepts. After that, I'm going to talk about what subsequently happened to me after I purged virtually every part of my prior layer of reality, from leaving the US to getting rid of all of my personal belongings, leaving behind family and friends and careers and things that I've built over decades, and moving to a new country to start completely fresh and throw myself into this vast pool of infinite variables and pendulums, and how this ultimately, at first, created a very unstable experience of reality. And how I sort of uprighted myself, got myself back on track, and transurfing to, to the tune of the intention that I set for myself, which was ultimately come here and crush it in the real estate market and develop a life for myself quickly and full of all the things that I want and desire. After that, I'm going to talk about something that, just like I want, I fear, I can't let go, how the meaning of that continues to evolve and I gain a deeper understanding of it, which allows me of even higher state of reality than I believe is possible for me, which is choice, allowing, and acceptance. These three concepts, choice, allowing, and acceptance, I believe I have mastered now, because I have tapped into a very crucial aspect, which I will share with you, of exactly how to maintain a connection with these ideas of choice, allowing, and acceptance, to not allow yourself to revert back to your previous version of reality once you have decided that you want something higher and better for yourself. It's as simple as that, but I'm going to break that down and go into it deep and hard, and I hope that you will derive some value from it. And then after that, I'm going to talk about a concept that helped me to realign myself from what I was experiencing when I first got here, which was chaos reigns, like to an extreme degree. If you missed that video of mine, Chaos Reigns, this is what took over in my layer of reality when I arrived in Georgia. After, I will admit, I created some excess potential. I believed that all of the stuff that I had to do to get rid of all my stuff and move out of that layer of reality that I was existing in the US, all the logistics and things coming in my direction, people saying, don't do this, everyone in my life disagreeing with my choice. And this was, for those of you that, watched my last video, I was kind of a wreck, and followed my lives on Facebook. I sort of viewed getting away from the US as being the last bit of chaos. And once I got here, things were going to resume this, kind of normal, steady tide. And I was going to really enjoy my time once I got here. But the first month, my God, I was plunged again into this vast pool of infinite variables, and I essentially became like a little baby transurfer that didn't know anything and was in a distant and very exotic and foreign sector of reality and didn't know how to navigate my way around it. So I created a tool that's very easy to use, helped me realign myself, and I believe that anybody can do this thing at any time for any reason. Super simple, super easy to remember, and oh my God, is it an absolute fucking game changer. So I'm going to go into that towards the end of the video, and let's get started. So what got me here? For those of you that are new, for those of you that would just like a refresher, Transurfing, reality transurfing, amazing set of, what I call 13 core concepts, which allow a person to navigate reality, both, the internal world and internal dialogue, external, sort of reconcile the difference between the two, aligning your thoughts, action, and frequency to what it is that you want in your external environment. Therefore, getting your ideal intention, your goal, your desire, your dream, whatever it is that you want to materialize with ease. And that being, the sector of reality that you create for yourself and experience. So the problem that most people have is there's kind of a lot of junk in the mix that stops or hinders progress with reality transurfing. I know a lot of you in the Facebook group and a lot of you in this community are not seeing the results that you want. And there are very, very understandable reasons why this is the case. You don't simply just read a book and then all of a sudden change your entire tune and begin living differently and excel and never have to do any more work around the knowledge that initiated a change. This isn't really how it works. This is why most self-development books, you read it and it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. We have a massive amount of programming and also external resistance in our lives that keep progress and evolution and change sort of, not really abundant at times. And I'll speak for myself. Transurfing has been amazing for me. I have evolved out of all sorts of crap that was keeping me down, poverty mentality and PTSD, severe PTSD, low feelings of self-worth, not knowing what it was that I wanted in life, not having meaning and purpose for myself, not experiencing heart and mind coordination, all that kind of stuff. And Transurfing definitely helped me to get going in a better direction, but I still was kind of I was improving and my mindset was definitely improving, and I got myself into a really healthy and thriving romantic relationship, and I started doing better with, my professional stuff, but I still didn't feel as though I was maximizing where I was and what I was doing and maximizing myself. I still kind of felt like me just living maybe the best version available to me in that sector of reality. I was kind of just baby stepping, right? Baby stepping for a number of years. And then I realized that I needed to clear out a bunch of mental debris and understand exactly what sort of things in my reality were keeping me stuck in my external reality, were keeping me stuck. And that's when I came up with, this idea for the Anomalous Action Challenge. For those of you that have taken it, and for those of you that have not, this is the first step in what I am calling the system, the International Transurfing Institute system, which is the system that precedes the courses and stuff for the actual concepts. So this version of reality that I'm experiencing right now in this present moment, this far off sector of reality, this is really just a product of me exiting my reality rut to the extent that I gave myself the ability to access a different option, a different variation. We get stuck. We get into this, monotonous kind of zone of just living the same day. It's kind of funny, actually, today's Groundhog's Day, but living this, this Groundhog's Day deal kind of like over and over and over, not seeing much variation or difference or, accessing any new information or variables. So the Anomalous Action Challenge, I did it. I've done it for the last 5 years, a couple of times a year. This last time that I did it last year, I really pushed myself to just expand into whatever my world was offering me. And sure enough, my world offered me this. And for me even, the cool thing is when you begin to really trust this knowledge and really believe that your world's taking care of you, anything that you feel that resembles heart and mind unity, heart and mind coordination, that feeling of your heart igniting and your mind rubbing its hands together in satisfaction. Yeah, this sounds really, really good. When you start to trust that sensation, things just exponentially begin to open up, and you know that you can kind of do anything you want as long as your heart and mind are in agreement. Your world is going to support you in your endeavor. So the Anomalous Action Challenge is really just about you opening yourself up to new variations, new information, new events, new ideas, and waiting to see what your heart and mind has to say about any of that stuff. So I came here last year with Andrew and I was like, oh my God, there's so much for me here. I absolutely love it. And I was like, son of a bitch, alternative space, you really outdid yourself this time, but I'm going to take that deal. I'm not going to let my ego get in the way and tell me all the reasons that I should stay in my safe little comfortable sector of reality back in Missoula, Montana. I'm not going to let the people in my life, naysay my choice. I had to get my partner on board, which was really challenging because convincing someone to move to a country they've never even been to it's challenging, but I did it. And then I used rapid materialization magic and quantum clearing method to just kind of wave my magic wand and make the whole thing happen in a very, very short period of time. And just as much as I stated that the alternative space will present things that you can't even perceive in your own mind as a possibility, it's the same with all the ways in which the thing can materialize as well. My world just put me on it was like a slip and slide, like a fast track out of my past layer of reality into this new layer of reality. And I kind of just feel as though I'm here now in awe that when I really did set the intention to remove blockages inside of me mentally, telling me that it was safe, and I should stay put, or doing something like this is too risky, and all that internal chatter and feedback and gibberish, really. When I learned to put all that stuff in its place with the quantum clearing method, my God, it's like a whole new. So that's what got me here. When I arrived after this sort of purge of physical things, a purge of my physical layer of reality, a purge of all the things familiar to me, my professional, daily stuff that I do, my connections. I mean, I'm leaving behind like a massive amount of stuff, a purge of what's familiar internally, a sense of comfort just living in, your native country, speaking your native tongue. That becomes something that, like, we kind of take it for granted. But now when I go out into public and I'm in a foreign country needing to speak a language that's completely foreign to me, I mean, this is absolute anomalous action in the purest sense of the term. And in doing this, I am now completely open up to like an infinite number of variables that just leave me in two different positions. One, I have a buffet in front of me of things to choose from, and it's awesome. And I'm in my mid-40s, but I feel as though I'm experiencing reality for the very first time. I mean, in a lot of ways I am. And I feel excitement and a newfound, love of life. I'm experiencing things like new foods for the first time, and various things about the Georgian culture that are super interesting. And I feel very much alive and full and all this stuff. But at the same time, the flip side to that is there's also a lot of variables that are challenging and a lot of variables that are intimidating and scary. And when I first got here, again, I think I created a little bit of excess potential, thinking that I was just going to arrive in Georgia with my 2 suitcases, like, I'm here for my good time now. And I was smacked in the face by balancing forces. And even though, there's this infinite number of variables in my external reality, lots and lots and lots of them new and fresh and foreign, I was shaken by such a massive move in my life, really shaken to the core. And I think when this happens, when we divert from our typical script, when we divert from our reality rut, and we divert from that version of ourselves that we find familiar, and we are exposed to a vast pool of infinite variables, as shitty as it sounds, it's comforting to grab at the negative stuff. Because, the ego is a motherfucker, right? The ego is a motherfucker. And the one thing that the ego strives to do more than anything else is to be right in its theory and worldview that it's chosen. And programming runs real deep, right? I've been transurfing for 7 years of my life, but I was living an untransurfing reality for, more than 35 years. So in times of uncertainty, and this is where I feel that you can find value if you're ready to evolve, I'm willing to throw this out here because I do believe this is what catches people up in taking that next step to that higher version of yourself, that higher version of reality, that higher version of whatever it is that you want, is that when we're thrown into the unknown, we revert. And it's easier to say, oh, you know what, maybe they were all right. And maybe I made a mistake. And, oh, this is too scary. This is too hard. I can't do this. What have I done? And I'm going to admit, month one, that's where I was. And it was really, really hard because, again, balancing forces, man, when balancing forces strike back and you're not anticipating that, which we usually don't with balancing forces, it can be, a pretty harsh wake up call. And I realized that I had come here with a bunch of expectations of how it was going to be, a bunch of excess potential, a bunch of importance of needing to settle in right away and be comfortable right away and understand what the deal was right away. And even at month 2, I'm still learning a tremendous amount, but month 2 has been exponentially better than month 1, and I'll get into exactly why that is the case in a few moments. So I've been challenged like I've never been challenged before in my transurfing practice. And I feel as though this challenge was exactly what I needed to allow myself the opportunity to level up into an even higher version of myself, and almost, and I know this doesn't sound very transurfing, but almost forcefully so. Because there's no going back, right? There's no going back. I have a one-way ticket here, and I'm intending to make this work to the utmost degree. And it's kind of like one of those, it's either it's like do or die. I mean, I know that definitely doesn't sound transurfing, but I'm here now, and I definitely have the intention to make this work for me. So how I feel this is going to help you in your own transurfing practice. We oftentimes make a choice, and Vadim Zeland says it in the book. You can have anything you want. All you got to do is choose the thing. And I think where the wires get crossed with this sort of information is people expect that they're going to make the choice one time, and then this version of reality is going to materialize for the individual setting the intention. But it's simply not the case. What I've learned and what I want to extend to you is a powerful and valuable insight that once you have decided that you want something for yourself and you make that choice, you have to then continue to make the choice over and over and over and over and over, moving yourself through each frame continuously, incessantly, and without faltering. You need to continue to make the choice for yourself over and over again. I think in month 1 of me, in this new version of reality, I stopped making the choice. As weird as that sounds, I kind of reverted back to, I don't want to say a victim mode, but I was definitely like, seek cover. Oh my God, what's happening to me? What's happening to me? I can't deal with this. Rather than really standing steadfast and resolute and being like, this is my choice, I'm owning it, and I'm continuing to take each step through this version of reality owning that choice. And I think this is exactly why people make choices and then jump ship, right? Abandon their intention. You plunge yourself into a vast sea of variables. Pendulums start gunning for you. Everything seems unfamiliar. You don't know how the thing is going to materialize, and it all seems scary and uncomfortable and distant and foreign and all those things. And the easiest solution seems to be to stop making the choice and simply revert back to safe, comfortable reality rut, right? So I stopped making the choice, and I realized as soon as I stepped back in to, Renee making this choice for herself and doing the things that she needs to do and making this choice repetitively with every thought and action, then things started to improve. Allowing is a huge part of it as well. And I know that, this funny thing has happened to me a number of times where I've sort of transurfed myself to a place where my lower self didn't necessarily agree at the beginning, right? I've done this so many times where I'm powerful enough to get myself there, but then my lower self and my ego is like, you don't deserve this. You're going to fuck this up. Oh, the other shoe's going to drop. Something will happen. This is a mistake that you've arrived here. And all that kind of like mental garbage and debris gets, flowing in the new version of reality. And it's about calling that out. And I really have developed at this point the ability to understand what voice is telling me what and why it's saying it to me. And again, when I got here and I wasn't actively making the choice to seize this version of reality, I started questioning if I was even worthy of this thing. And I caught myself, obviously, and it's kind of sad because this is the first time in my life that I own a home, like outright, and it's not just any home. It is legit like the nicest house I've seen in the city. And I'm in the real estate business now here, and I've looked at a lot of properties, and this is like legitimately the nicest place I've ever seen in this city. So it's kind of sad that like I made the choice. I did all that action, all that anomalous action to get me here, all that, dismantling of my old layer of reality, the push to get myself, my dogs, for those of you that followed the dog saga, I mean, that was a fucking nightmare. It was really scary. It was really like, it takes a lot to rattle me these days, but that one really, really rattled me. It was tremendously expensive. It was very risky. It was a lot more risky than I originally thought it to be. And I did it. I talked my partner into coming. We got rid of everything. We got here. And then I get here. The house is beautiful. It's fully furnished. Those of you that watched the videos on Facebook, you saw it. But here I am in this place of like not making this choice actively anymore and kind of just becoming like pendulum food and being confused and feeling like I don't know up from down in this unstable version of reality. And I actually felt unworthy of it and couldn't really enjoy it. I mean, and I'm very, very happy that I woke up. I woke up and I realized exactly what it was that I was doing. And again, I'm going to let you in on my little tip for tapping into waking up and seizing everything that is in your current version of reality, to the extent that like you can maximize in an absolute second and begin enjoying it and feeling worthy and allowing yourself to have whatever it is that you've chosen or continue to choose for yourself. And then acceptance. Acceptance, falls in line with the allowing and feeling worthy. And that is just really putting yourself into a place, me putting myself into a place where, I stated that the alternative space has way more to offer us than we could even consider to ask for ourselves. And it really is true. But we lack the ability to accept these things sometimes and really embrace what it is that's coming in our direction without putting up a bunch of walls and excuses and reasons why you can't take the thing, or you can't have the thing, or you can't make the move, or you can't start the journey. Getting yourself to a place in your life where you can just see what is coming in your direction and begin accepting some of it and allowing yourself to have it, allowing yourself to experience something better and become something better. I mean, this has equally rattled me to the core in a positive way. And I'm glad that I'm just really, really happy to be here, you guys. So I want to speak quickly on one I fear I can't let go. Such a powerful and amazingly deep tool and way to look at the world to navigate you to where it is you want, while releasing yourself and your need to control. I never in a million years, well, I won't say a million years, that's a little bit drastic, but I definitely didn't believe that at 43 years old, I was going to throw it all to the wind, scrap my jewelry business, which I've worked a tremendous amount of time and energy for the last 20 years, made a really positive and, powerful name for myself in the industry. I never thought that I would leave that behind. I never thought that I would leave the US. I love the US, and kind of just get rid of everything and move to a country that I had never even been to before last summer. And on a whim, I came here for a week, then I bought a house here, and then I convinced my partner and we got rid of everything and we moved here. Now, the reason why this is such a special example is because of this idea, I fear I can't let go. So Transurfing helped me in a lot of ways to get a lot of the things that I want and get over a lot of the fears of the means to achieve the things that I want, or not understanding them, or not thinking that my means would work and all that stuff. A lot of it was resolved. And the I can't let go, it's helped me in a lot of ways, Transurfing, to let go of a lot that was in my past layer of reality. But I still had this ambiguous goal or this ambiguous intention of just an even broader sense of freedom and financial comfort and ease that wasn't necessarily directed in, I wasn't actively thinking of taking steps super long term towards this end destination. I was just open and ready and willing and able to do what I felt compelled to do by the information I received from the alternative space. And that was to do this. I fear I can't let go is really a powerful testimony in the ability of switching your mode of I know the way, or I don't know the way, but I'm going to keep trying this other way because it's the only thing that I know. I fear that I'll never get there. I can't let go of the things that I know how to do, or the things that I feel need to be done to get me to from point A to point B. And the value in really lowering the volume down on that mode and switching over to listening, trusting, and allowing your world to give you an alternative. So what I've realized is, and this might not be the case for everybody, but just for the sake of a fun conversation here, I bet you what it is that you want, there is a means to achieve that goal that's right in front of your face right now that you aren't seeing, that your world's presenting to you. Maybe it's been presenting it to you for a long time. Maybe it's something that's just popped up. But this idea of I want, I fear, I can't let go, lowering the volume down on that and beginning to open yourself to the infinite possibilities and ways to achieve a higher version of reality in this world via what the alternative space is offering you. This is super, super, super powerful. And this is exactly what has helped me to arrive here today. 5 years ago, if I had experienced what I experienced last summer, I would have wrote it off. I would have said, oh, that would be great. Oh, that'd be really cool. Oh, maybe someday I'll move to a foreign country. Oh, I can't right now. I can't give up my business. So I've worked too hard on it. Oh, my family's this or that. I've got to stick around for them. I would have sort of scoffed at the idea. And I think we oftentimes scoff because, again, I want, I fear, I can't let go. We feel as though we need to control everything. We need to control the narrative. We need to control the means to achievement. We need to control the direction. And it's scary to let go a little bit. But in letting go and allowing yourself to see the ways in which the world wants you to be successful and the means to get there, this is some powerful shit. And I really think that this should be the ultimate intention if you are a transurfer, or if this is something that you're interested in, learning how to do, is lowering the volume on the I want, I fear, I can't let go, and opening yourself to the possibilities the alternative space is offering you. So now to my simple little trick that I discovered for myself when I was in meltdown mode for that month. My God, oh my gosh, if I could play back a reel of my worst moments, I actually had a bit of a panic attack one night in bed, and I was just like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? And I've spoken about it a little bit in the community. Zaza, who also is in Georgia, he's in the Facebook group. He's a transurfer, very, very good transurfer too. I hope you're watching this video, Zaza. I appreciate all your words of wisdom. I wrote something about some of these things that I was going through, and Zaza's response was, all you need to do is switch over to a place of gratitude and it corrects itself, or something along those lines. And when I got here, like I said, I was kind of just like this little baby infantile transurfer that didn't know how to get up on the surfboard. I was kind of paralyzed and not, as I suggested, in times of uncertainty and being in an unfamiliar, uncharted territory, we revert back. And Zaza said this to me, and I was just like, oh, God damn, of course, duh, and even me, 7 years in, and I know a lot of you consider me to be an expert reality transurfer, and in a lot of ways I am, But in a lot of ways, I can still revert back pretty quickly when I'm challenged, and seeing this knowledge, these words, and this wisdom sometimes feels as though I'm seeing it for the first time. And Zaza said this, maintain a state of gratitude, and like it all corrects itself. So I did that, and instantly, after a really, really rough month of all the stuff that I described, I realized that I had been living with two filters. Filter one was fear and unworthiness and not trusting my world. This was me not making the choice that I had made, right? This was me not allowing myself to have. This was me, putting up resistance and comparing. My God, comparing is an absolute danger to the transurfer. Oh, this isn't like this, and I'm used to it like this. And as soon as you get into that space, you extract yourself from a place of gratitude when you're in a state of comparison. And that's what I was doing. So filter one, fear, unworthiness, and not trusting my world. And then the other filter, which I was tapping into periodically, but I needed to do it even more, was the filter of enjoyment and gratitude and trusting my world. And I had kind of lost sight of the value of that. Yep, 7 years in, transurfing expert, lost the understanding and value of maintaining that state of being. So I thought to myself, okay, you just arrived at this new place, this new layer of reality. This intention has materialized, and you're being challenged daily, and pendulums are gunning for you like a motherfucker, and you're swimming aimlessly in a vast sea of variables. You've got filter one and you've got filter two. You are going to, Renee, act like you are a complete beginner at this entire thing and start from the absolute beginning. Anytime you catch yourself in filter one, fear, unworthiness, and mistrust of your world, you're going to acknowledge it and you're going to switch over to filter two, enjoyment, gratitude, and trusting my world. And when I did this, it was like my higher self arrived finally in this layer of reality. I'd left my higher self back in the US, and suddenly my higher self just got fucking catapulted over to Tbilisi, Georgia, and aligned with me. And since then, things have gone so much more smoothly. That first month was really challenging with business. We were getting ourselves into all sorts of weird predicaments. Like we would find a place that we'd fall in love with and then put in an offer, and the offer would get accepted, and then we wouldn't hear from the people. This actually happened twice. We wouldn't hear from the people for a number of days, and then they'd contact us back and say, oh, we want more money now. I was like, what the fuck? And there was all of these things not working out. Like one day I injured myself 5 times in one day. I tripped. I caught my head on a plexiglass guard of an ATM and threw myself backwards, and got chased by a dog. And, there were all these weird, wonky, chaos reality things playing out. And as soon as I switched over to filter two, it all changed. Higher self came over and joined. Business deals started to materialize with ease. Things stopped looking less scary. I wasn't so intimidated by the language. I actually last week sent Andrew an audio of me singing a really stupid song in Georgian to him and actually having fun with it. Whereas the month before, I was really intimidated and upset by my inability to grasp the language. So filter one and filter two goes beyond just acknowledging when you're, existing in shitty layer of reality and then moving over to improved and enjoyable version of reality. It goes way beyond that. I hate to compare reality transurfing to law of attraction. My God, that's always been my objective, is to separate. It's not law of attraction. But it is so true that if you're existing in filter one, fear and unworthiness and mistrust of your world, my God, you are going to attract all that stuff infinitely. And if you exist in filter number two, all the good stuff, embracing all the opportunity and enjoying and feeling gratitude and allowing and all that good stuff, my God, your world wants to bring you your shit on a silver platter and say, here it is, you deserve this, right? You deserve this. But again, I had to snap over into that mode. And it took me about a month, and even a month after that, to sort of just like get myself together and get myself to a place where I could start doing this again, and I could start providing some insights to those of you that, feel that I have a thing or two to offer somebody in their transurfing endeavor. So this is what I want to offer anyone, first off, that's made it this far. And again, please remind me if you like these long ones or if you want me to go back to the shorter 10, 15, 20-minute videos. But anyone that's made it this far, you're a dedicated transurfer. I believe this experience that I have gone through, that I am going through, that I will continue to go through, it's universal, and it applies to virtually any choice that you want for yourself. You got to make the choice over and over and over. It's not about just making it once. I mean, first you got to exit your reality rut if you don't know what it is that you want, and you've got to gain access to stuff and see what it is that you want to do next. Then once you've chosen your thing that you want, your intention, once you've set it, it's making that choice over and over and over again, and being sort of relentless and moving through those frames, not abandoning that choice when everything seems to be up in the air, right? When you exit your reality rut, the reason that it's the reality rut in the first place is because everything's settled. Everything's, everything's static. There's nothing moving around. There's very few variables. It's comfortable and it's calm. When you exit that via a new choice, via a new intention, and you embark on a new journey, going through the doors, towards your goal, there's going to be a lot of stuff up in the air. And just remain steadfast and in filter number two. If you can continuously make the choice for yourself, allow your world to show you the ways in which you can achieve the thing, lowering the volume down on that voice inside that says that you know the way, or things need to be a certain way, or you need to maintain control, or the voice of the ego saying that you can't do that, or that's closed off to you, and all those sorts of things. If you can do all of this stuff, you can have anything you want. You can have anything you want. If you're in your 50s or 60s, you could become a doctor right now. I know that sounds crazy, but if you wanted to, you could do it. You could absolutely do it. You could do anything you want. But all of this stuff that I've just talked about in this last hour, and if this is resonating with you, go back and listen again, because I promise it'll not only embed itself even more, but you hear things that you haven't heard. I'm still listening to quantum clearing method, rapid materialization magic, and anomalous action challenge all the time. When I walk, when I'm cleaning, when I'm playing with my dogs, when I'm doing stuff, I listen to these things because even though I wrote them, my lower self still has some shit to say about stuff. And I need to just like keep hearing, I can do this. I am worthy. I am capable. I trust my world, and my world will provide to me the means to achieve the goal. And my version of reality as I'm currently experiencing it now, my God, this is proof that I've finally gotten it. I've finally gotten it. And I'm just like so grateful, you know? I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for those of you that listen to me. I'm grateful for those of you that extend to me that some of my experiences and words and the knowledge that I'm working with is helping you. And I just want you to know to not give up. Continue making that choice. Continue to allow and to accept and to stay and filter to. And you can go anywhere. You can do anything. You can have any experience you want. You can be anybody you want. You can do anything you want. And you can have freedom. You can have freedom. This is the ultimate intention of mine, is just more and more freedom. And oh my God, I'm as free as a bird today. So with that, I will bid you all adieu. My next premium content course is coming out soon. It's going to be about script jumping and removing stale, old, tired ass programming, overriding that programming with new programs that you choose, and using this to choose new scripts, align to new scripts, and take those new scripts into higher levels of success and enjoyment and opportunity and fun and freedom. And it's going to be a powerful course. It's going to come with a massive warning, because as I realized when I got here, I had put myself into a place where I was like, oh my God, can I handle this? But even more, I was kind of tripping because I was like, I hope to God none of you guys actually try this. It's this is hardcore transurfing. This is rip roaring wild ass transurfing ride that definitely is for more expert transurfers. This course is going to be very expert level. So I hope you keep an eye out for those details if that is something that interests you. If you have any questions about anything that I've spoken here today, comment below. I will answer all questions, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on these longer videos versus the shorter ones. And I will see you all on the next round. Bye, guys.